Jays today, where your boys always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays, and we do have lots to talk about today, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Some big MLB free agency signings going off the board that directly impact the Toronto Blue Jays and their whole rest of offseason outlook. We got that to break down. We got some of the news of Kevin Kiermaier, his contract, and his role on this team. That to break down. We got to look at the potentially still remaining guys that the Blue Jays can go out and target, and maybe even touch on the catching trade market while we're at it. What is up, everybody? I'm your host, Nicholas Blaylock.
I'm your host, Adam Peddlin. Guys, welcome in everybody to the Wine on Wine. I just need a coffee because I am gassed right now. But we've got two cold shots right here.
They're ready to go.
Nick's got a White Claw, so we're gonna be cracking into them. Hope you guys are having a good Friday as well at the end of the week. And if your work week isn't over, sucks to suck. So sorry, we've been there. But guys, let's talk about some MLB. Let's talk about the signing first right away.
Let's get right into it.
Andrew Benintendi. Let me just make sure y'all can see my screen. Great. He is going to the Chicago White Sox. Now, first of all, I did not see that coming. The Chicago White Sox?
Hey, GG.
GG, man.
to the White Sox, bro. You know what? They're honestly a team that very rarely gets discussed in these free agency rumors, I find.
Yeah, because it feels like their team's complete. It's like, well, you don't need anybody.
And it also feels like, as well, they always get overshadowed by the Cubs. You know, it's like the Cubs is like the big team in Chicago. Even though the White Sox are better than them right now, it feels like the Cubs have a bigger fan base. And because of that, just from a monetary standpoint, these guys always miss out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this signing of $75 million...
It's the highest?
It's the highest that the White Sox have ever made.
Because I know you're talking about the Cubs franchise, but like they had some really good teams a decade ago. Like some really good teams.
Yeah.
Like Frank Thomas, and he was on that team.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer. How did he not get paid more than $75 million? I guess that's inflation for you. Because, wow.
But even Grandal, too, you know, it's like there's guys out there that it's like, I'm just shocked about it.
Lynn, I don't know. Like, it's just shocking.
Either way, they make a big signing here. They make a big splash. $75 million, 5 years. This is great for the White Sox. Not so good for the Toronto Blue Jays. This was obviously a target for the Jays. Now, you could argue that we weren't as interested in him after we made the Kevin Kiermaier signing.
I agree.
But I still think, me personally, there was a small sliver of hope holding out on the fact that maybe we could be in that conversation. Maybe we could go out there and get it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it a lot more in depth later, but I think the fact that Kevin Kiermaier was going to play every day for us kind of killed my hope for me. Like, it really did. But and I did want Andrew Benintendi. There was no rumors tying us to him. But $15 million a year is a deal I definitely would have done well before any Kevin Kiermaier signing.
Yeah.
And that made me thought today, I made a tweet about it on our Twitter, does this mean that we could potentially be saving that $15 million a year for someone like a Lourdes Gurriel Jr.? Because that kind of feels like what Lourdes would make.
Well, I was very close to calling this whole thing and proposing to calling it with you is what's next for the Toronto Blue Jays? What's next for this offseason? We're seeing guys fly off the board left, right, and center. The biggest guy still remaining is Dansby Swanson. I think we're probably not in that conversation. Like, unless something major changes, we're not even going to be involved in that.
Bo goes to, he commits a crime.
Exactly, right? Like, something major would have to shift for us to put our sights on a Dansby Swanson. So, basically, as far as top-tier guys go, there really isn't anyone left on the free agency market. So then, what is next for the Toronto Blue Jays? Is it that big catcher trade? Is it the extensions of the young guys or the Lourdes Gurriel Jr. that we've been calling for, crying for, screaming for seasons now? Is that what's next?
I don't know if the extensions are next. I mean, like, the next move to be made, maybe, like, if we're completely done at free agency. But I still think they're guys that, like, we're going to be at least looking at before we finish off a free agency kind of, like, looks, at least.
That's a great transition then to the next dude who went off the board today, which was Joey Gallo. Now, unlike Andrew Benintendi, there were some rumors linking us to Joey Gallo, and I hated every single one of them. I was well documented in one of the minimum monologues that I did, basically saying, I do not want Joey Gallo, and there was mixed feelings in the comments. Some of you were like, he could provide 30 to 40 home run upside. I don't disagree. But then there was a bunch of other people kind of in my camp being like, I don't want the 200 strikeouts to come along with it. So.
And I agree. He will strike out a crap load. And this today, you know me, I'm not a Gallo fan at all. Never have been. But there was a comment made and on Twitter today, and I was like, actually now I'm starting to think about it. The shift is gone now.
People were talking about that.
The shift is gone.
Yes.
They shifted this guy so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that might be a reason for Joey Gallo to sign a 1-year deal, see how he does in this new shift world.
Yes.
And if he could bat 235 with the shift gone and with all that power, I think Joey Gallo is going to be just fine.
If that's the case, I am so happy for Joey Gallo. I want that for you. I want you to figure that out on
another team.
You know,
we can't.
I understand the argument. I get it, but you do go deal with that elsewhere. No Joey Gallo for the Blue Jays, no Andrew Benintendi for the Blue Jays, which means that if we were to go out and get another outfielder, which we're not entirely sure that we're going to do because Kevin Kiermaier has come out and said he's going to be the everyday center fielder. We got news today that Lourdes Gurriel Jr., he's going to be jumping position, so he's going to be, I think, our right fielder now.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Who said that?
That's what's out there, man.
Because George mainly played right field as his secondary position.
Don't kill the messenger, bro. I don't know.
I gotta know the source of this because
look it up on Twitter.
That's stupid as hell. Why would they do that? Anyways, let's go. We'll get back to that at the very end. We'll do it in our Q&A section. It's gonna take too long.
Yeah. But what that means for the Jays, are we going to be in on Michael Brantley and Michael Conforto? Those are the top remaining guys that could fit on this team, that could be part of this ball club. I don't
think so. I mean, again, I guess we'll talk about it right now. The whole thing of Kevin Kiermaier, you are starting everyday center fielder. That kind of solidifies it for me. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is a left fielder, at least I think. Springer's going to be the right fielder. Kevin Kiermaier in center. Now, Michael Brantley and Conforto deserve time on an everyday playing spot. And because we have 2 catchers right now, they're going to clog up the DH with Kirk, Jansen, who knows, maybe Moreno's in that mix. There's just really no space for a Michael Brantley Conforto who are going to want playing time. Maybe not so much as Brantley. Conforto definitely wants playing time. But, man, it just doesn't feel like it's going to happen anymore, folks.
Right. No, I do tend to agree with you on that one. And it's just, we got to trust the guys that we have. And I'm hoping that, I didn't even consider what you were saying right there, but I'm hoping that you might be onto something with Blue Jays are saving that $15 million to go and extend Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Because that would be really nice.
Yeah, why pump all the money into guys who are not on the team right now that really, it doesn't really feel like a fit when you can already extend your core. You know? And Lourdes feels like a good core guy that you'd want to extend anyways.
Exactly, right. And also, too, Kevin Kiermaier, this is a Band-Aid solution, everybody. Kevin Kiermaier is going to play center field for us this year, and he's going to be great defensively, but it's only a 1-year deal. You know, this doesn't solve the long-term problems that we have. I still think that come trade deadline, if Brian Reynolds is still a Pittsburgh Pirate by that point, I still think that we're going to be in those conversations because we want that long-term guy. I still think that during this season, there's going to be a lot of talks about when is that Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Extension going to happen, if it is going to happen, right? We are going to need to fix the long-term problem there. This is just short-term, and I think kind of the bad free agency update is it won't be solved this free agency.
Exactly.
It won't be solved here.
We didn't get we were all clamoring at the whole Nimos and the Benintendis. It's done now, folks. That conversation's dead. I'm almost ready to close the book on the whole adding another left-handed bat thing.
You think that it's finished completely?
I think I'm done for this offseason because just for the point of being, if Blue Jays have literally said, Kiermaier, you're everyday center fielder now, and we already have Lourdes and Springer out there.
Right.
If you want a guy to play every day, you're not, all the guys we want to trade for are going to have to play every day.
And how are you feeling about Kiermaier being the everyday guy?
What
are your thoughts on that?
I'm getting more warmer to the idea that he will be playing every day. Look, there's always a guy on a team that's the defensive stud. Kiermaier is our defensive stud. Espinal, I guess you could say, is our defensive stud as well. But those are guys that you're okay slotting in the 8-9 spot just for the fact that they save so many freaking runs. I mean, this guy saved the most runs, I think, since 2015.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So, for me, I think I'm going to forget about it when, he's giving me... If he gives me okay at-bats, I'll forgive him. If he wastes at-bats, I won't. But I'm also going to forgive him if I see him diving for balls, smashing against the wall, and absolutely coming up clutch for us in the outfield.
Listen, the way that I put it when I was doing the live stream reacting, because Blue Jays Twitter, our comment section was blowing up. I feel like everyone got lit on fire for a second.
Right.
But the way that I was putting it was, how did we feel about Kevin Pillar? pretty freaking great.
And he wasn't that good.
He wasn't
offensively.
good. I looked at his numbers. I literally, I looked at his numbers, dude. And in like some of like the best seasons with Toronto, he had a low 700 OPS.
Yeah.
Which is definitely in the realm of possibility for Kevin Kiermaier, right? So Kevin Kiermaier, his career OPS is 750. Now he is on a down year last year for sure. But for instance, the 2021. If he gave us 2021 numbers, I'm thrilled.
Dude,
I'm thrilled.
And that's just been his career. And he's been injured in 2022, so hopefully he's healthy. That's the big thing. He's got to stay healthy. And again, it's a one-year experiment.
It's a one-year experiment. But you look at Kevin Pillar, who was a fan favorite, who everybody loved.
Yeah.
Literally negative 11 OPS plus recently. But like, let's go to like,
2015. That's the year.
Right there. It's like those are the numbers that Kevin Kiermaier could provide.
The batting average was great. I remember this. The batting average was good that year. Like I love that 278. On base was horrible. This guy could not walk for shit. Right. 314. But that comes out to a 713.
Yeah.
But we were all good with it. And guess what? He lost the Gold Glove to Kevin Kiermaier that year.
Exactly.
So there you go.
If you can't beat him, join him.
He's the new Kevin Pillar.
Or pay them money. That's what it is. He's the new Kevin Pillar.
Yeah.
And like I said, while everyone was freaking out and losing their minds, we tried the offense. We went down this road. We tried to sign George Springer. We tried to get all these guys who were elite at hitting and push them together and be like, go home run our way to the World Series. We've tried that 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row, you could arguably say. It hasn't worked. Let's try something different. Let's put a defensive stud in there. Lose a bit of OPS points, but maybe make some incredible highlight plays.
Dude, I think they've been kind of doing that the last 2 years. That with the addition of Matt Chapman, the addition of Kevin Kiermaier, like now you got an anchor. You got an anchor in center field. An anchor at third base. You want to have an anchor up the middle. You got Espinal. I think he's really good, but obviously Bo's been struggling. You got a Gold Glove now over at first base, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., so it just comes down to Bo Bichette. That's going to be still a question. I think, if honestly, in just the way that this defense is upgrading, I feel like not this year. They're still going to give Bo a chance at shortstop. I think we all fantasize about getting James Swanson and other people. But if he doesn't do anything better defensively, I do think a change will probably.
I agree, dude. Like I think that this is Bo's last opportunity to be like, hey, I can actually do this and not lead the league in errors whilst also doing it.
Exactly.
So even though there are some bad free agency updates, it's all about perspective, folks. So start getting around on Kevin Kiermaier. He's the new Kevin Pillar. We are going to be out on some of those other outfielder options. I think we're probably locked in. This is where we're going to call it for those of you re-watching this stream. So shout out, hit the like, smash the subscribe button, and comment down below your thoughts on what is transpiring right now with the Blue Jays, with the free agency, maybe with the extensions. I like where your head's at.
I love it. I love it. That's going to be next conversation.
Literally, guys. Hit the like, smash the subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and go Jays, go!